Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video of Reinaldo chess lesson. Today, we are going to cover the round number 11 of the candidate tournament. The most interesting game of this round was a decisive result played between Anish Giri and Liren. With this result, Anish managed to be only half point behind the leader, that is the Russian Grandmaster, Jan Nepomniachtchi. So let's start with the game. Giri opened with e4. Dean Liren open with the defense e5. Usually, Dean is a very classical player. He used to play very solid with black, knight f3, knight c6, and here bishop b5. Against the Rui Lopez, probably the main test is the Berlin defense with knight f6. But in this case, Dean select the Morphy defense with a6, bishop a4, knight f6, and now we have short castle. In this moment, black have a lot of alternative, but with bishop d7, this is known basically as the close system on the Rui Lopez, and black, delaying the advance of the d pawn from d7 to d6. Black still preserves some chance to play the Marshall variation, the Marshall attack with d5 directly at some moment. But here, Anish did something very interesting, that was the trade of the bishop for the knight on c6. This is known as the layered exchange. This exchange is possible as soon as black play a6, and also this exchange is quite common. Just to show you, we are going to be back here soon. There is a variant in the Berlin defense where white can play the anti-Berlin system with d3, and normally after this, bishop c5, bishop takes c6, and pawn takes. This is one of the main positions in this anti-Berlin variant. So the idea of this system is be very flexible with white, hoping that black decide where to castle in order to castle to the opposite side and create some winning chance. For example, if black castles short, white can castle to the queen side, and vice versa. If black castle towards the queen side, white can kick the king on the king side and create the dynamics necessary to play, hoping for the victory. So in this point of view, the variant that Anish did is very similar with the anti-Berlin system, but in this moment is known as the layered exchange. So pawn takes, and here we have the same d3. The difference is that white king is already castled. So black can castle short, keeping the king in the same flank, but didn't went for a more aggressive approach, castling long and hoping to create a pawn store on the kings. Let's see, bishop d6, defending the pawn. Also, by the way, here, in case that white capture the pawn, black have counterplay over the pawn on e4. So when white defend e4, it's necessary for black defend the pawn that now is truly hanging. So bishop d6, knight b d2, bishop e6, and so far we are following some background on the database, and here we are going to see, the first novelty of the game is a move that is not on the database, but it's the second best engine suggestion, that is knight b2. Here, typical move can be b3, because as white trade the lions for bishop, place all the pawns in the same color, hoping to play some bishop b2 and press in the center is quite common. And also queen e2, looking for a future connection of the rooks. But here, okay, Anish did knight b3, and this is the first move out of the data. In some of the variants of the exchange, Rui Lopez, those knight maneuvers to try to press the pawn on b7 is quite common. So here, queen e7, making room for the king to castle long, knight a5, and now finally Dean accept the challenge, creating the opposite castle position. So in those situations, normally all is about attack as soon as possible. The advantage, the theoretical advantage for white, is that white pawns on the king side are still online. So black don't have rupture points available for a possible pawn storm. But for white on the opposite flank is different, because white have those pawns on c6 and a6 respectively, and probably white can dream with the possibility to try to get a rupture pawn on b5 somehow. Really, it's quite difficult, because black have an amazing control with the bishop pair and the queen to prevent the mobilization of those pawns. And also the rook is pressing in the center, keeping some pressure on d2. But okay, in the game, Anish did queen e2, inaccuracy according to the computer. But okay, don't pay too much attention to this, because really there is a lot of options and the valuation is really very close and equivalent. So queen e2 out of the file line of the rook. Now bishop d4. This pin is particularly annoying because white cannot challenge the bishop with an expansion normally, or push the pawn usually means that white is creating a rupture point. The way to pin the knight can be, for example, just move the queen and move the knight. But in this particular situation, it's not too easy because there is some bishop c5 attacking the queen in that case. So let's see how Anish deal with this. He did c3. Okay, the first important committal move of the game, and we can see that in order to make progress, we have to take some risks. With this move, white is accepting the creation of a backward pawn. It's a pawn exposed in the open file that is not defended by other pawns from behind. But in other hand, he's supporting the b4 square to try to do some expansion and be able to get the rupture point. Objectively speaking, at the moment, really, black don't have how to put immediate pressure on the backward pawn in the center of the board, and really both players are focusing in opposite flank attack. So now he did c5. I understand this move as a kind of prophylactic move in order to prevent expansion with b4 because black is overprotecting that square. But really, in opposite castle position, material considerations are not too relevant. And even despite this move seems to be a prophylactic move against b4, it's possible for white do the advance. In the game, Anish did a3, preparing in a more slow way the queenside expansion. But it is important to mention that in case of b4 pawn takes rook d1, this is perfect playable because now white will be ready to recapture, and it doesn't matter if white lose a pawn because finally can create new attacking lines towards the enemy king on the queen. So, but okay, Anish did a3. So here we have c6. Okay, this move is to enable c7 for the bishop and create a space for the rook. So we have finally b4. Here really white is doing very well because he got the rupture point first. So bishop c7 and now knight b3. Knights on 3 knights used to be misplaced. The engine preference is knight c4, but knight b3 is the second best move, only with 0.5 difference of valorization between both moves. The knight on b3 also makes some sense because he's pressing on c5, forcing black to take a decision about it. But okay, here black removed the knight in order to reinforce the pawn on c5. And here Anish did probably one of the most important moves of the game, that this h3. Really, this move is a very difficult move to do, and it's counterintuitive because normally in this opposite castle position, usually the last thing that you want to do is touch the pawns in front of the king, because after h3, black have now a rook to pawn on g4, and we are going to see how Dean Liren, he was trying to get this rook to pawn during all the game. That really is the correct approach for the position. But the h3 move played by Giri is extremely risky and is only justified for very tactical and specific reasons that we are going to compare between two positions. So before continuing with the game, I would like to show you a sample variant that is quite similar with what happened in the game, but without the inclusion of the pawn advance to h3. For example, if white play bishop e3 following his own agenda to press on the queen side without pay attention to black plans on the king side, black can push to f5. Okay, and after bishop takes on c5, uh, here the capture with the bishop is an exception. It's more valuable than the knight, but the idea is reinforce e4 with the queen. So we have queen f7, and after rook a b1, in order to protect the knight, because this move is very sneaky, creating a threat, with a long move. So finally we have pawn takes, and now black takes the bishop in order to enable the fa square, and the pressure on the pawn on f3 is really extremely annoying. So black is doing very well because there is no way to reinforce the knight on f3. So black have a very big advantage here. So in the game, Anish include the h3 move, and now after bishop h5, bishop e3, the variant is the same one that we saw before, but with the inclusion of h3. f5, bishop takes, queen f7, attacking the knight. Now rook ab1. And here, the main difference is that in case of this capture, okay, white can recapture, and after knight takes e5, knight takes e5, if we have the same move, rook hfa, here white have some possibilities in order to try to reinforce this position on time. For example, there is some rook b3 maneuvers to try to come to defend this point. For example, something like this: takes, 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 rook takes, king g2, and the rook on the third rank is protecting on c7. In the other variation, really there is more pressure on f3. Okay, let's go back. We are here. So then the g5, that really is the top move in the position. G5, and it's took on F5, and here we are going to see probably the losing move of the game. So in the opposite castle position, Black is trying to open the king side, getting the rook to the point with G4, and this move is so natural. This is a move that you can do basically without thinking. But here, now Anish can win a tempo with knight G5, attacking the queen, and when the queen takes the pawn, h4 closing the king. And this is what happened in the game. So right now, the G file is completely closed, and Black lost all the initiative on the king. Really, the correct way to attack in this case will be capturing on f5 first and hoping to play g4 later, because now knight g5 is not available. But okay, g4, intermediate move, and h4 closing the king. So here, team play b6, asking explanations to the bishop. And now, okay, this is just a brilliant move played by Giri. And probably, the way to accelerate things to convert his positional advantage in the victory. The safer move and the thought engine suggestion here is just retreat the bishop as far as possible, having the minor pieces supported by the pawn from behind, and reinforcing the knight on g5, and later knight e4, placing the knight in front of the most advanced pawn of the opponent. But in the game, he did that immediately, leaving the bishop hanging on c5. And one more time, we are going to see the importance of the initiative in opposite castle position. So if usually we can sacrifice some pawns in order to open new attacking lines, well, this is a case where we can see how sacrifice pieces, a positional piece sacrifice, may be justified in opposite castle situation if that allow you enable some files. Okay, in this case will be the b file for the rook, and also without the pawn on b6, this knight will be free to participate in the game actively. Eventually, the queen can join to the party, taking the pawn on a6, and that is what happened in the game. So pawn takes, pawn takes. But now it's Black to move, and then did knight f6, what is a logical move, centralizing the pieces and hoping to trade some pieces. And now here we have knight d6 check, keeping the initiative, taking the outputs, and forcing Black, okay, to remove probably the unique defender of the queen set, that is the bishop for the knight. And now here we have this powerful discovery attack with d4, opening this diagonal for the queen, ready to get the invasion square. Then push the pawn, sacrificing the pawn in order to do discovery defense along the sixth rank. Anish took with the knight, taking the outputs, attacking on a6 even more. And after rook e8, queen c4. And in this moment, white advantage is plus 15. Dean decided to resign. And the main reason of that is because there is any way to prevent the discovery attack incoming, moving the knight zone. Okay? Probably the unique try can be rook c6, but after d5, rook c7, the pawn on a6 will be hanging and the position collapses very fast. So this was an amazing attacking game played by Anish, where he took important decisions. Also, in my opinion, I think that his opening selection really was very clever. Yeah, and he is doing quite good preparation, anticipating the style of his opponent. This is also probably one of the, apart from your general strength, the strategy. I mean, the approach that you give to the tournament with your opening selection is very important for the chance, because at this level, the balance, the level of the players is very balanced, and those small details can represent, a very big difference in the final result. So, well, guys, with this we finish with the analysis of the round 11. We are going to keep covering the next round. So keep tracking the videos. Thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in a new video. Bye.